Gang. Fuck. All right, this could be tape reading, trade review, all that good stuff from Friday. Congratulations, everyone with a investment portfolio. I guess congrats. I hope you bought the dip. I guess I don't know, but yeah. Anyways, coming into the day today, let's talk about what we had. So already, on the 4 hour, we're gonna we'll just take a top down approach real quick, just to show you what I was seeing. So already on the 4 hour, we have this, potential SMT right here with some solid displacement up. Obviously, no market structure shift yet or anything like that from Wednesday or Thursday. Um, but we still have this, potential SMT right here with this um, 4 hour low sweep that we got on NQ, right? So that is one thing to understand. And then coming into the day, we swept out previous day's lows with the wick. Really nice displacement up. Now this is actually strong displacement compared to all the other price action we are seeing, even this whole day, right? We get a very nice fair value gap popping up over it, making it a new high. Even on the 4 hour, this is a market structure shift higher. Really strong on ES2. ES is even stronger. So you can just see, we have this potential SMT, then we sweep a daily low. Then beautiful price action displacement. Now we're probably ready to go take these highs, all these highs, and run back up, and potentially even continue the trend upwards. Right, this could have just been a nice retrace on the higher time frames. Right. Um, so yeah, that was really my thesis coming in the day. To get a bit more scientific with it, with how I had it. We had this unicorn model. We had low, high, lower, low, right, low or high, low or low. Yeah, fuck. High, low, high, lower low, higher high. Basically just market structure shift higher on the 4 hour as well. Nice fair value gaps here. Um, Disrupting, breaking a lot of PD arrays, right? Breaking this order block, breaking this order block, breaking this fair value gap, breaking this fair value gap right here as well too. So overall, this was looking really good for a move up, right? And we had this unicorn model on the 1 hour. You could have said here or here, I guess, is the 1 hour unicorn. Either one works. This is kind of like the breaker block right here. Um, so yeah, coming into the day, I was very bullish now, as we've seen this model, right? But now I was just kind of gonna wait for an entry, right? I want to see some more liquidity get swept, so I know that wants to be protected, and then some signatures up, to protect that low. Enter in there, and we run. Sadly, I could not get filled today. Shit ran super fast. You had to get like market orders, and you probably wouldn't even get filled then. So it's pretty crazy today, as you can see. But that was really the thesis going into the day, right? We swept that previous day's lows. Nice displacement up, disrupting a lot of PD arrays, got a unicorn model, all that good stuff. So I was just waiting for an entry line to take out all this liquidity. I was really confident with potentially here we could use standard deviation. I mean, obviously standard deviation saying this, and look how well that works, right? Pretty crazy, right? But yeah, I was pretty confident in this high and this high probably getting taken, right? I didn't know when, but I thought it was going to be probably a pretty solid trend with this, really nice displacement. So I was confident in these previous day highs, previous session highs, and just these highs getting taken, right? There's a lot of low resistance liquidity now. And damn, look how we ran through that. That's really good. So yeah, that was like the overall higher time frame thesis coming in the day. And let's see how you could have entered. So notice here, where we open, right? We open right here. There's a lot of these lows or like stacked lows right here. Consolidation basically. What do we do on NQ? Run through all this liquidity, put in 15-minute SMT, potential SMT right here, right on the 15-minute, run through all this low, this consolidation liquidity, manipulate it, then pop higher, right? With an SMT, this looks really good. On top of that, we're pulling back into the breaker block for the unicorn model on the higher time frame and displacing up heavy off of it. So that looks really good. And even on the 5-minute, right, we come back down this order block and just rip off of that. So it's pretty crazy. I try to get in here. This is where I thought the move was going to be. Couldn't get filled, and it popped down right into this order block, right, and ran even higher. But anyways, the entry was hopefully right in here if you could get filled. But yeah, on NQ we had that manipulation, right? Sweeping all these lows, right? A lot of lows from London, and London Open was, I believe, yeah, down here. So it came down, took all the London like lows, consolidation lows, but not London Open. But it's not too important, right? Manipulated it, and then with an SMT, came down to the unicorn model in the 1 hour breaker block. A lot of good PD rays, and bam, we get the signatures and price to go higher. So let's run into that. Obviously, you want to take ES as it's the leading index. It's holding these lows, right? So it's just stronger, right? So what do we have? We sweep this low right here on ES, right? Right here is the potential SMT. What do we get? We don't get a market structure shift higher yet. I wanted to enter in right here because we had this fair value gap going over it. This could have looked good, right? But sadly, we kind of just wick down off this wick. I want to see us close above for the market structure shift higher. But what do we come down and do again, right? So off of these highs that we kind of these air, yeah, these London highs that we just kind of took, right? Um, and push down off of, right? We're coming back, breaking above them, popping back down in this first presented 30-second fair value gap. We have a 1 minute SMT right here. Then we get a market structure shift higher with the fair value gap. This could have been your entry right when this candle closes. As you see, the market structure shift higher, close above this high right here with this fair value gap. You would have had to get your whatchamacallit, sorry. You would have had to get your market orders, hopefully get filled. Um, and yeah, you would have rode this thing up. You could have had your stop at these lows or these lows, rode this thing up till previous day highs, previous session highs, set stops to break even, wouldn't have gotten, or oh my god, you would have been damn close to getting your stop take or your break even stops taken, and then insane, Rip, insane. So that was really the best entry for today, right here. Um, yeah, it's pretty much it. Another solid entry right here after the sweep of this low. Pop up here, nice strong price action, right? Get your entry over here, I guess. I probably wouldn't even take that still, but that would continue to run just with a strong trend. And yeah, that's just not a good time to trade right here on a Friday. It's going to the lunch session basically. But yeah, this was your entry, A plus, everything, super aligned. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the trade I took. This is just full transparency here. This whole week I was doing good. I'm up still. I'm still up on the week. Don't get me wrong. Um, but this is I kind of just got like FOMO. I'm like, damn, I really want to get in on this trade and all that stuff. FOMO, greed, whatever you want to call it. I simply was not responding correctly to the environment and not staying aware and all that, right? So we had this little technically a 30-second SMT on the 1 minute. This isn't even nothing, right? But we get an SMT here, make a higher high with a fair value gap. I try and enter in right here, immediate stop out, right? Absolutely an immediate stop out, right? Why would I even try and enter in on this retest? We just took daily highs, session highs with potential SMT in the way. Also, this model is just way too small and way too niche to even like play out and be respected, right? Like, look at this area. We just took out previous session highs, previous day highs as well with the SMT, as well as this 1 hour high with potential SMT there. All right, so at this point, there's a good chance we could retrace. And this like 30-second low, I'll show you right here. Even on the 1 minute, this is literally nothing. Like literally nothing here is on the 1 minute, right? And you're expecting this to get respected after we take you know, a lot of liquidity of the opposing, side. Um, that's just not that is just not aligned. That's not a good trade to take at all. I learned my lesson. I'm never gonna do that again. Tell you what, it happens though. We made a mistake, and we weren't on our stuff, but we learned from it, and now we'll do better, right? And then another trade you actually could have potentially taken is this retrace trade down here. We sweep out previous day highs, previous session highs, all that good stuff, right? And we're like in all that opposing liquidity, right? Like we just took it all out, like right here and right here. Um, and then after that, right, we see this huge, huge move down, right? 1 minute or 5 minute, maybe even SMT right here. With this market structure shift lower, this is looking good. You can now wait for a nice entry internally, right? This is looking good for a retrace move now. We have this 5 or 1 minute SMT right here. And then we get an internal unicorn model. This could be your entry right here. This could be your entry right here on this blue line right here at this breaker block. Entering right here, stop losses or profit targets at just PD raise, right? This order block. Um, yeah, and then you would have got stopped back at break even. Let's see where this trade would have went. Now, understand we're in a strong trend, so I wouldn't even take this trade probably. But it's still a potential trade that you could take just because we're in such a strong trend, right? I don't even want to try and take this, but yeah, you would have had a nice 1.5 hour trade. And then stop rest at break even. So, but I probably wouldn't even have taken this trade just because we're in such a strong trend, right? And a retrace move, who knows? What's that really gonna take you to, right? But on both these names, it took us right to this. I guess your stop. I guess maybe you would have got it on NQ. You would have got it though. But yeah, on both names, this took us basically right to um, the order block on the 5 minute, and then from there, Fed Powell speaks and we rip. Yeah. On NQ, I'm gonna see if there's a good entry on there. Uh, yeah, there is. You could have got. I don't even think you would have got filled on NQ though. If your entry was right at this breaker block, right, you could have had your entry down the wick of this breaker block though and got filled. Um, so you could have got there. So if you were able to get filled, yeah, you would have had a nice trade. You would have had a nice trade. So yeah, NQ probably the better trade there as it was weaker the whole day, even though this SMT wasn't looking quite as good. Um, yeah, that is pretty much it for the day, guys. What I learned is to never take those dinky ass little models, not even models, right? When we're in trend, really just wait for your trade to set up, right? These like 30-second continuation models are not valid. They're not aligned, especially when we just took opposing liquidity with SMTs, with potential SMTs, right? This is just not aligned. This is not going to work, right? We don't have any, we haven't retraced down, right? It's just not like a good model to take really, in a continuation. That's just not, it doesn't really work for this, So, yeah, that's really what we can't take those, tiny little models in continuation right here. Um, Plus, we were also extended on the standard deviation. You could use standard deviation as well. We haven't retraced any real liquidity or P raise, right? Way too niche, way too small to be aligned for anything. And yeah, we kind of took that trade out of just greed and wanting to get in on this. We were not responding to the environment the right way, the situation, acting appropriately. We learned from that, and we'll never do that again. I'll tell you that much. And also, big thing is you might have to take market orders on days like today, like to get filled right here. Um, that's just because, and your risk reward is still good at this point, right? On days where the conditions are showing us there's a good chance we rock it, you know, we go really far, and like we're showing a lot of strong price action. Conditions are aligned with SMT and strong price action, market structure higher, all that good stuff, showing that market conditions are likely to be super fast, right, and rocket. You might have to hit market orders on days like today, and that's just the way it is, to get entered in. But holy fuck, actually would have been an insane trade, like probably one of the best trades of the year, real talk. So it's unfortunate, but we learn, and you got to get better. So that's it for today. Oh yeah.